All right, we have one more speaker joining us. So we just wait for the last speaker to join, and we'll get things started. All right, cool. So we just perhaps just start with some icebreaker. So if you just put in the chat, perhaps where you are dialing in from, perhaps city and country, and if you're building a startup as well, like let us know. Like just tell us maybe in one line, and in a few words, like what are you building? So example, Nubi here from Dubai, Dubai UAE, work at Paystack. Paystack is a digital payment infrastructure company. So yeah, let's know where you're dialing in from. Let's know if you're building anything. Wow, there's a diversity of people here from Lagos. Yes, Lagos, Warsaw, Poland. Wow, thanks for joining us. I have no idea what time it is right now there. Um, okay, we see more Lagos, Abuja. Okay, yeah. Awesome. Kigali in the house. Awesome. Cool. All right. So we'll just get into this. Thanks so much for joining us on this webinar. We're looking at how to go about navigating the YC process. And to do justice to this, we have a couple of startup founders who just perhaps completing or recently completed the YC accelerator program. So yes, we'll be just diving into the before, the after, the process itself, the application interviews, and just tips that folks can take and apply to their application. If you're not aware, the YCS 24 application is open and it's closing on April 22nd. So you have a few days to just again polish up your application and send it in, and hopefully some of what we talk about today might be helpful in that final review process to get things going. So yes, my name is Nubi. I lead startup programs at Paystack. And Paystack, like I said, is a digital infrastructure digital payments company. We help people again accept and disburse payments. We're live in a number of African countries, including Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, and then running betas in Egypt and Rwanda and Cote d'Ivoire as well. And the Paystack Catalyst, which is a team that's actually responsible for this, is really about like how do we help startups go from 0 to 1 and then 1 to the moon. So it's really helping with, of course, payments, which is quite critical for if you want to be in business and you're making money and try to make revenue, but also just other growth levers that exist as such. So think about, again, information, think about talent acquisition, think about expansion into new markets, think about fundraising support, think about discounts on tools, software, and services like we offer through startup bundle. So it's a plethora of, like, again, offerings that we have, and it's really about helping startups really make progress with whatever they're building. So if you want to learn more about that, do check out paystack.com/startups, and you can read more and contact the team also from there. All right, so let's start on a very not to put you guys on the spot. I did add this in the prep questions because I wanted it to be more of an icebreaker. So after we do this, we'll jump into introductions. Can anyone just like guess? I mean, and don't go on Google. How many African startups have actually gone through YC since inception? How many African startups? The closest number wins. So just write it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and say the answer. Okay. So Moses, Tolu, Tosin, how many startups? Give me a number. Don't go. Now I'm looking into your eyes and see your screens and seeing if you're going to the directory. All right.
I'm thinking like 55.
Okay. Tolu, what's your number?
I'm going to guess like maybe 90.
Well, that's the answer. The answer is 90.
Wait, really?
Oh, I thought you actually were checking. Okay.
Wait, is that the answer or
That is the answer, actually.
Wait, really? That's hilarious. Wait, what? Wow,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
today.
it's 92 if you want to be as specific as possible. But yeah, like 90 is very too close to call. So yeah, fair play. Okay. You know how they say fintechs are the one that are taking all the money. Although, like, yes, we have a fintech on this panel. But thank God there's other two non-fintechs as well, which is actually testament of the diversity that exists in the YC portfolio company. How many African fintechs? So of the 92, how many are African fintechs? Just again, throw a number out there. Moses, want to give it a go?
Probably 63.
63, okay. About Tolu, the fintech on the panelist.
Maybe 50.
This is too. I can see that because it is actually 50.
It's 50. This is great.
I think you need to go play the lottery right now because
I really need to actually. I really need to. I'm not looking at anything. I'm just guessing numbers.
Yes, there are actually 50 fintechs that are actually from Africa. And yes, can anyone guess the first Nigerian startup to get into YC?
Paystack.
Yeah. That was awesome. So yeah, that's our trivia. So there's 92 African startups since inception, and we have 50 of those are fintechs. And yeah, the first Nigerian startup is actually Paystack. And so again, thanks guys for playing with me. And so let's jump into introductions. We will start from Tolu. Again, just name and what you're building.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. My name is Tolu. Apparently, I'm so good at guessing stuff. My name is Tolu. I am building Cleva. Cleva is a digital bank for African freelancers and businesses to manage their money in dollars. We launched less than a year ago, and we're in the current YC batch. So literally, we've been doing YC from January and about to end on Friday. Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations and really, all the best with the next chapter. How about you, Moses?
Hi, everyone. My name is Moses Mukundi, founder of Eden Care. So at Eden Care, we're building digital health insurance for employers in Africa. We did YC in summer of 23. So we're headed to a year.
Yeah. I think we're doing the tech check. We're kind of like just comparing experiences between, like when does the YC Stardust fade? And Moses was like, yeah, I think it's already. so I don't know if Tosin has a different experience because I think Tosin and Moses you're in the same batch, right?
Yeah.
So for you, like YC Stardust gone, are you still very much on that high of YC?
I think we're still sort of on the high.
Okay. I guess Moses might be fighting bigger battles because he's in the regulated space of insurance. While you're just, well, I'm not saying your job is easier, but maybe he's just dealing with more demons on his journey. So he's like, yeah, but yeah, cool. How about you, Tosin? Just a quick introduction.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Tosin, CEO at ChowCentral. You probably know us as 500 Chow. So what we do is, as of right now, we're building what would become Africa's largest virtual restaurant chain. Yeah.
Awesome. And I was also saying, like, you guys have actually chosen to do hard things, like building a virtual restaurant chain across African cities, giving US banking to businesses, and then of course, like giving again digital healthcare to employers across Africa. Those are really ambitious and audacious goals. And yeah, like again, going through an accelerator is one way to actually again fast track that reality, like again bring about that reality as quickly as possible. It's in the name, accelerate, like really to sprint and also. I guess question to get started: what inspired you to apply to Y Combinator, and what were your initial expectations. Again, before going in, we always know that going in and actually wanting to go and actually going in might be two different things, expectation and reality. So maybe just start with Tolu, like why did you want to accelerate? You were going to build, Cleva with or without YC, but then you chose to accelerate that journey with YC. So what inspired you to go that route?
Yeah, for us, it was mostly around surrounding ourselves with people that we believed that we could learn from and learn a lot from quickly. And looking at YC and all the companies that have gone through YC, YC is a very great network. You have founders and companies from Paystack to Andela to Flutterwave and a bunch more who are within that network and people you can tap into and learn from. In addition to the actual companies and founders, you also have the YC group partners. They themselves, they've seen, there are 90 African startups, but there are thousands of YC companies that they've seen. They've experienced different business models, what's good, what's not good. And we wanted to be able to tap into their experience and their knowledge versus, us having, usually you would have to experience things before you know what can happen. But if you learn from somebody who has already experienced it 20 times, then you probably don't need to experience that same thing. So that's some example of acceleration because you've learned something. Now you can skip that pain and move over to something else. So that was a big reason for us, was all about surrounding ourselves with people who have been there, done that, seen a lot of this stuff in the startup world and use that as a way to accelerate our learning.
Yeah. And if you had to compare again expectations, because again, you're about to get out of this, so you're ending YC on Friday. So expectations going in and what you've then just experienced, like how would you think, how does that stack up?
I was expecting that I would learn a ton and it would be busy, but I would say I've definitely learned a lot and it's been busier than I expected. I will say that for sure. Maybe because ours is in person and maybe it's not been in person in a long time. Perhaps that could be a difference, but it's been more busy than I expected. But I've been learning a ton, being exposed to other founders, learning from them, being exposed to the group partners, learning from them. From a learning perspective, which was our main goal, definitely check mark. We've been able to learn from people. Yeah.
That's good. How about you, Tosin? Again, just why YC? And for you, I think it's quite interesting because again, it was almost like the food era. Like YC was in fintech, and all of a sudden, like was food. And so, like, what made you think, okay, I want to accelerate this what I'm building here, and YC will be the place to go do it.
Yeah, so I think it's every single thing that Tolu said. Every single thing she said. The human resources, really, the network, right? Being able to stand on shoulders of giants, right? That's really why we applied. And the elephant in the room, 500K. So yeah, we needed the capital for the business, so we also wanted to get that in.
Yeah. I like you're a straight shooter on that. Like that's a runway. That's a lifeline to actually go build what you're building. So leaving YC with 500K, I guess I can secure 500K. Although there's been again two school of thoughts on the terms and all, but I think still, regardless, especially in this climate as well, like I think that's something that one also gets out of applying going to YC. How about you, Moses? I don't want to paint you as the pessimist on the panel, but like just like why did you think why you didn't accelerate what you're doing at Eden Care?
I think how we were just about to start fundraising, right? And in this environment, it was going to be very tough. And it made sense to go to YC, sort of get that golden stamp, and it made it a lot easier to raise capital, right? So that brand, in addition to all the human capital, the network, etc., that everyone has spoken about. But I think for me, a big component of this was also being able to fundraise easily in this funding environment.
I wanted to click on that because going for Kenya, so Nigeria, I think it's almost like almost like a tick box exercise applied to YC. It's like if you're building a startup, applied to YC, and the numbers like might be encouraging. And so like, okay, at least I'll be one of the three or one of the five or one of the 20 something when it was at its peak to get in. But in Kenya, since time immemorial, there's always been 1-1-1-1, like dash 1-1. I think the only time was in winter 22 when we had 2 Kenyan startups in YC. I said from that time it's always just 1. And so for me, it's like, why did you even bother to think I would be the one that would be selected for this part? I'm just curious, like, what was going through your mind? Did that deter you? Did that not factor at all in you even applying or putting yourself forward for this?
Yeah, I think we even had a worse handicap because when we applied, we were only live in Rwanda. So no Rwandan startup had ever gotten into, and if you look around, no startup from a tiny country had ever gotten into YC, right? Mm-hmm. So this was us essentially punching above our weight and hoping that we could get it, right? But I think, we felt like we had the right story, we had the right traction, and, being a startup founder is about being too confident more than you should be. And there's nothing wrong with applying and being told no. What's the worst that could happen? It's a no, and you move on, right? Yeah. Or the best thing that could happen is you get in, and that's what we ended up happening.
Awesome. Like the last panel I had on this I think it was last year, and I think Tolu shared a very fun fact that she was actually watching that particular webinar, and here she is in YC now. So maybe someone watching this webinar as well will be in YC and will feature next year on the next year panel. So let's see. But it was crazy because I asked a question that year and said, how many times do people actually apply to YC? I think the highest was Bridge Card, and I said they applied at about 12 times or so. And it was almost like every batch just apply, and apply. Maybe the first few times it was a different company, and then they evolved into what Bridge Card is and enter. So I'm curious for just this panel as well, like how many times did you guys apply before actually getting into YC? Tosin, how many?
Yeah, so with this idea 2 times.
Okay.
The entirety of my life 3 times.
Okay. Tolu, how about you?
2 times.
2 times.
Yeah.
With the same idea.
Yes. Well, a little bit different between the first and the second one. Yes.
Okay. And Moses?
Yes.
Yeah, 2 times. First time, but I think the first time we got to the interview stage and we actually got very interesting feedback because they were like, you guys need an insurance license, and once you have an insurance license, actually apply. We'll pick up. So we went to the last stage, but they were like, come back when you have something. And that's what we ended up doing and got in the second time.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so I guess that encourages people who perhaps have applied before now. Just again, nobody here got in the first time. I think it was the last panel, it was only Moneko who got in, and they were like, that's the first time we applied. And they had even no products. It was pre-products, by the way, when they actually applied. So I think there's a question in the chat about what stage should you be in before you apply, working products, MVP, and all. But I think it's a spectrum. Of course, the more proof points you have, the better. But I don't think you should let it deter you. The worst, like Moses said, you get feedback and you just go work on those feedback and apply again. So that's cool. Let's talk about the application process itself. Can you just share perhaps 1 or 2 top tips as to how you think people should think about the application? That's the submitted text-based application process. You guys applied once or twice. Were there anything that changed between the first or second time? Was there anything that you would have done differently, or you did differently that made it better in articulating what you're trying to say? What methods or ways did you actually go about even putting the application together to make sure that whoever was reading it on the other side could actually clearly understand what we're trying to do? So just again, 1 or 2 tips that you give to anybody who's actually, again, perhaps drafting or reviewing their application. We could start with Moses.
Yeah, sure. I think it helped having put together this application on a Google Doc separately. it becomes a lot easier for you to come back, review, and make your answers a lot more succinct, a lot more clear to the point. I also found just having a network of people that can review that work, people who've gone through YC specifically, to be a lot more helpful in putting it into good shape. So put it together on a Google Doc, and then have someone review it for you who has gone through YC. And I've seen how a lot of the YC partners think.
Yeah, that's a good one. So maybe avoid doing editing on the application form itself. Try moving to Google Doc, the questions, and then draft your answers. Get comments from people, put a lot of eyes to review. That's definitely spot on. How about you, Tolu? Any tips on just the application process itself, or preparing your answers for the application?
In addition to try not to write the whole book and just try to be as direct and straight to the point as possible, I would add the founder video. Again, I wasn't there when they were reviewing our application, so I don't really know which section they prioritize, but my hunch is they usually prioritize the founder section. They want to really know who you are, who your team is, and then they want to see how you guys interact with each other. How do you describe your product? What are you talking about in your video? What really matters to you? So I'm not saying you need to go and spend a lot of money, create some high-level video or high-quality video production for YC. No, it's more so really understanding your script, what you're saying in that video, how you're coming off in that video, how you and your co-founder are coming off in that video, and just making sure to portray the type of message you want to portray in that video.
How about you, Tosin?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing for me. Just keep it clear and concise. So I would say, I think something I would like to add is, if you are applying for the second time, right? I think you have an edge over the person applying the first time, which is that you have the opportunity to come back with like so much more traction from the first time that you applied. So that's something that is very important to really note, right? Once you're applying for the second or third time with the same idea, you have to make sure that you have actually, gained so much more traction, either in your product or your business model, just something, so much more traction from where you were the first time you applied. Yeah, I think that's really it for me.
Awesome. Let's fast forward to, like, again, people have applied. So you've, again, like Moses said, you've put your questions in a document, you've drafted your answers, you've gotten a lot of people to help you review. And by the way, I am volunteering if you are working on, I have a number of Paystack people as well who can help you review. So feel free to tag us. You could do a quick email to startups@paystack.com, and we can get people to help you review your Google Doc. So do that. And then again, Tolu said, avoid just waffle, and be as succinct, as clear as you can in articulating what you're trying to do or say, and spend time on your video, the founder section, who you are, what you're able to do, and all. And your video is one way to actually do a good job of that. If you just go to Twitter and just type YC video, you'll see a lot of people that actually got into YC now publish the video that they used to get into YC. And so you could just get a lot of tips from that. I think even YC themselves feature some videos of people that got into YC as well. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just think about like what is in the content of the video, what is their structures, because people get to hung up on like trying to say all of their application in the video, and then it gets really long. So I'll just give you that tip there. And then like Tosin mentioned as well, like try to show progress if you're coming for a second or third time. What traction are you made in your application, your product, team, market revenue? Just again try to convey that, and that gives you an edge as well. Let's fast forward to the interview. So because again, we might not have a chance to put up another webinar for now that you've gotten an interview. What should you do? So for the interview process, I mean, people have to prepare for that as well. And so I'm just curious, like, can you guys share how do you prepare for a YC interview? You've gotten the email that yes, we like what we see here. Let's talk some more. What do you then do then? as a founder? Let's start with Moses.
Yeah. Well, first of all, be happy you've gotten the interview. But if, for example, if you have traction, you know they're going to spend a bit of time understanding your unit economics, your numbers. So better be sharp on those numbers. Be able to figure out how to, what they talk about with public presentation, your opening line, which high likely will be, what are you building? That fast answer gives you confidence for the rest of that interview. So whether you're cramming it, make sure that you nailed it down, right? Because then if you're off to good momentum, you high likely will be able to keep that through the entire interview. And yeah, just think through what if you've raised around the questions you hear from investors are actually going to be the same things that you hear. It goes super fast. So this is one of those, as long as you know your numbers, you know how to tell your story pretty well, you should be good to go.
So have a good start. I think the first impression matter. You don't want to come like just tell me what you bid and then you're waffling and then you're like, I don't want to spend the next 15 minutes with this guy just doesn't know what he's building. So that first entry, what you're building, be very clear, articulate on that, and know your numbers. I think that's also very true as well. Like, don't make up stuff, like, but know your numbers, and have them at the back of your hand as well. So it will really preempt a lot of these questions. And again, just quick Google search, you can see a compilation of questions that have been asked in these interviews. So yeah, just do the work and get prepared for them. Yeah. How about you, Tosin? How did you prepare for your interview?
Yeah, so I think for us, we're very dramatic, right? We had about 4 days or a week to prep. 3 days before the interview, we were going to a certain house every single day. And I think within those 3 days, we were able to write something that we probably call like a textbook on what the business was all about, our metrics, understanding every single thing about our numbers, and not just knowing those things, but now being able to now digest it and break it down in the most simple way to someone else that is going to be taking that interview, right? You have to digest all that information and still be able to bring it out to somebody in a way that person is going to understand what you're talking about very easily. Bearing in mind that the person is white, most likely, or foreign, right? And the person has probably never been to Africa. So there are certain things you have to really, really think about when you want to communicate or pitch the business that you're working on in Africa. Yeah, so I think for us, we really focused on getting as much information about our business and then knowing how to actually speak in the way that they would easily understand, right? And we had gained some traction. So a lot of our focus was actually on the numbers, understanding our numbers and being able to break it down. I think once you have traction, you would be a very smart person to really, really understand your numbers before an interview, because they would drill down on those numbers. And if you fluff it, you would most likely not get in. Yeah.
I have some things to share, but I'll wait for Tolu just in case I don't like if she's going to say that. I don't repeat them. But Tolu, yeah, go ahead. Like,
I mean, great responses already. The only thing I will add is practice. Actually practice. People it's 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute interview. It goes by very quickly. They fire your questions. They want to hear a response, move on to the next one. It's a very different experience, actually. And even if you were to read online about this thing being 10 minutes and, you practice in your head, it's very different from the reality. So my advice would be have your co-founder, have a friend, literally, like this is what we did, literally write down questions based on your research, what you think could be asked, set a timer, have this person ask you with a very stern face and respond like you're really in the interview, and time it and make sure things are clear, and use that as a way to practice. That would be my recommendation. Like, actually do it. Don't just sit down and like ask yourself questions and imagine the answers. Practice it out loud to someone who's asking you these questions the way that the YC interviewer would ask.
Very true, very true. Again, I mean, when I used to be on the Stripe side of things, like they actually had like mock interviews, YC mock interviews with a number of startups that went through the prep process as well. Yeah, I can help with interview prep, responses and stuff. Applications. Maybe the mock ones, have limited spots on that. So do reach out if you want to do the mock thing that Tolu mentioned. But I think, like you said, you can work with your co-founder to say, okay, let's just practice it. And it's really about, again, going from here to saying it out, timing yourself, getting feedback. If you don't have a co-founder, if you don't have a co-founder, you're a solo founder, you could just even do a Zoom recording and just play back to yourself and see how you've responded to yourself as well. So that's another thing there. Some questions in the chat I want to just touch on. Are the interviews virtual or in person? Just to confirm from you guys.
Virtual, they're virtual.
Virtual, yeah. So everything, I think in person is when you actually start the program, at least from now, from since post-COVID. But yes, the interviews are virtual. So you also have to make sure you have good internet, good location, backdrop, and all that kind of stuff as well. Make sure everything works. The last thing you want to say, like, we can't hear you, and 10 minutes will go by really fast on that. So please do. I know a few folks who even come to the Paystack office just to book rooms and use the Paystack office for their YC interviews. So if that's something you need as well, we can see how we can arrange that for you. Another thing that I was going to have to say again, just trying to reference the last year's webinar, was again, like, don't lie. Don't make up stuff, don't lie. I think it was one person that said in the interview, he said, we have a Telegram group where we have our beta users, and then like I said, was like, okay, add me, this is my number, add me to the group now. so it was like, it was able to say, is there a group? And then the number that you claim that was in the group is actually true. So validation on some of this, some of these claims do happen. So please don't make up stuff. Say the truth, and cool. So now we've talked about the application, we've talked about the interview. Let's talk about the program itself, so people can know what to expect. I think, Tolu, you started by saying you wanted to go learn, and learn you did. But then, like I said, it was busier than you expected. So just go around the room and like just what is entailed in the program. So you've applied, you've interviewed, you're in. What does that timetable look like in YC? Maybe we'll start with Tolu, since you're very fresh in it.
I'm also so curious what Moses and Tosin are going to say, actually. For us, it entails the different components. So there's a component of what they call group office hours. So they put you in a group with other YC companies, other founders, and you guys get together, talk about your challenges for that week, talk about what's top of mind, and just, communicate with each other and give each other advice. I found that really, really helpful. And sometimes it's not just even business stuff. Sometimes they go a bit deeper on why are you even doing this in the first place? Like, what's your why? And then people get to share that. So the group office hours where you connect with other founders is really great. So that's a big component of the program. Another component of the program is your one-on-one office hours with your group partner. So every company is assigned a group partner, which is really awesome, right? It's like you're meeting the celebrity and you get FaceTime with this person that just knows so much about startups. So you really want to take advantage of that and ask whatever questions you have on your mind. So those one-on-one sessions are great. And then there are these events where they bring some famous, maybe the Brex CEO or Instagram CEO, Rippling CEO. They come, they talk about their experience as a founder. Actually, Airbnb was our first one, and it was just amazing. He came, talked about how they were struggling and hustling. Nobody believed in them. And now look at where they are. So that was just very, very inspirational. So that's another component of the program. And then the fourth part that I will mention is goals. There's this whole culture of, and they do it in group office hours, there's this culture of setting goals. You set business goals every two weeks. And then you come in, you report on the goals, where you are. Is it green? Is it red? What happened? What are you planning for the next week? So that really, really pushes you to work very, very hard, because you don't want to come to your group office hours and be the person who didn't make any progress. Granted, there's a lot of red goals, because number one, they push you to set very aggressive goals. And then number two, you come and you report, even if it's red, okay, how close did you get to the goal? Right. So that's another huge component that I've really valued.
Yeah. I'm curious, Moses, Tosin, would you concur or anything different from your experience at YC?
I think everything she said, yes. But I think one thing I would just like to say is, before you get into YC, you might be tempted to think that YC is what is going to save your startup or your idea or make you work, right? But YC is not going to save you. YC is just going to give you the tools and the necessary resources that you need to go and, try and achieve your goal or build your idea or build your dream. That's all YC is going to do for you. But it is not. So another thing is, when you get into YC, you need to understand the game you are playing. You need to understand the resources you need. So you need to be able to use the environment around you to get what you would like to get. Nobody's going to give you anything. Nobody's just standing to serve you something. You really need to work it out for yourself. So I think that's the only notion I would just like to correct. Yeah.
YC will not save you. Again, it's to accelerate. So if you're building nothing, it's going to accelerate nothing as well. So it's garbage in, garbage out. And like I said, it's a buffet. You're not spoon fed.
Exactly.
You have to leverage what's available for you and to you. But yeah, Tolu, I think that was a very good. At least for me, for the first time, I feel like, oh, okay, this is what people go through. YC and all. Moses, how about you? Anything to add to that?
Yeah, I found my relationship with the group partner to probably be the most important relationship out of YC. Went in, I think he had built a bank, as building an insurance company. There's a lot of, he could understand a lot of things that I was trying to do. And once we agreed on what I was sort of the goal and the direction I was trying to steer the business, it was interesting seeing him open the Rolodex and getting calls with like CEOs of like some of the biggest insurance companies in the world, and they would actually make time. And that proved to be like one of the big accelerators that happened when we were at YC. So that relationship with your group partner, if well leveraged, could set you up for significant growth going out of YC. But I think people forget that, hey, you also have to hustle. I tell you, I spent 2 weeks in San Francisco, 2 weeks back home, because we're in the middle of a sales period. Right? It was brutal. I can tell you that. It was really brutal. But you need to remember, post YC, you still need to run your business, right? Post, you still need to be able to show numbers, right? We're an African startup. The expectation usually with investors is that we need to have a lot more traction than an American for them to fund it. So, being able to make sure that you're keeping balance of participating in YC while still being able to drive your business, because you need to be able to leave YC with good enough money, good enough traction that sets you up into going into post YC period.
Yeah, I think that's a very big tip, because again, like you said, people think that when you're going to YC, you're pausing your company. I'm going to go like to school or something, and company is waiting, and then the customers will wait, and then when you come, oh, we have finished YC, let's pick things up from where we left off. Like, that's not the case. Like, you are building your company, and I think even like you said, the goals, the meetings, it's really about like how do you move your company forward, and that requires sometimes, like you said, really knowing, okay, it's time to go hustle and go build and stuff. So yeah, thanks for actually like again making that clear and clear. It's not a holiday. It's not you're not going on holiday to San Francisco to chill with the YC gang and no. I think there's a question around at the point of application, must you have had a US entity? Must you have incorporated your US company, or can that be done afterwards? So again, at the point of application, is that a requirement?
No, it's not a requirement. I mean, just apply. Yeah, just apply, get your interview, get in, and then all of those things will be sorted out. Yeah. In fact, some people incorporate, and after they get in, YC tells them, please change this incorporation and do it a different way, right? So that happens too. So I would say don't even worry too much about incorporation. Just, I mean, if you have, that's great, but just apply, get in, and then it will be sorted out.
Yeah. And I mean, there are many tools today to make those things easier. And I'll be, again, shameless plug, like Atlas, Stripe Atlas has, and we have discounts for Paystack startups as well, like for 50% discount if you're one of our startups to access Atlas for a discount. I mean, it's very, very automated, and it's gone beyond even incorporation. Your documents for your founder documents, fundraising, and all those kind of stuff is all within Atlas now. Yes, YC strongly recommends for startups to actually use that as well. So again, definitely not a blocker, and so please do apply even if you don't have that in place. Shola Johnson wants to work at Cleva. I think you can totally have an email they can send a CV to.
Yeah, you can email careers@getclever.com.
All right, cool, awesome. Okay, let's move on to post YC. Maybe Tolu doesn't have too much experience of this yet, so we're checking with you in the next week or so. But now you applied, you interviewed, you've gotten in, you have all of these resources from group partner to group office hours to events and stuff, and so you're done. Post YC, what does that look like? Are there any benefits of just being a YC alum that you could continue to leverage? Is your group partner still going to be picking up your emails and calls once you are done with the YC program? What does life after YC look like that is still like linked to YC or benefits that you get from just being in the YC ecosystem? Curious from Tosin and Moses.
I don't know if Moses is going to work to take this one first, but I think how will I describe it? So while you're in YC, you're a superstar. Everybody's going to love you and all that. But once you get out of YC, you're your own. You're facing reality, and then you have to hit your milestones, your target. Like everybody's like, "Oh yes, you guys said you were going to." So now, what's the update on what you are doing? So at that point, I think you really face reality, and you now actually have to face the beast. So yeah, I think for us, we're still in that stage where we are very much facing the beast. Yeah.
But is there any like just resources network? Can you still leverage YC even post YC? And if so,
yeah, for sure you can. You can leverage YC forever as long as you have alumni. Right, you can always leverage the people there. You can always reach out to your group partners. If they are available, they will help you. But of course, I would be very honest to say that the more prominent or the better results your startup is delivering, the higher the priority they would give you when they are relating with you. Yeah. So I think the most assured relationships that you would get from being part of YC would be the alumni network. You will have a lot of people within that network that will always be willing to help you and give you advice. Yeah, I think that's something even till now we still really enjoy it. Getting access to any single thing in life, even something that is not even affecting your startup. It could be getting a visa, and just the YC alumni or somebody else would easily be able to help you with that. Yeah.
Okay. So that community is always there to be leveraged for business and even other stuff. Okay. Moses, you're post YC now as well. Like, what benefits, what things have you been able to leverage YC for on your startup journey?
Yeah, I think Bookface is a fantastic resource. You'll find random.
For context, for people that know, we're not all YC alums, so we don't know what Bookface is.
Oh, it is this YC specific, like intranet, so to speak, that is available to all YC alumni, and you get to see a lot of resources, right? People will write, best practices on how to launch something, a digital campaign, or people will write the experiences doing something, recruiting, etc. And I think for me, that has probably been the most useful thing I've retained. I also I'm speaking to my former group partner next week. Still very, very helpful. And I also think that that alumni network is amazing, 100% amazing. It's text someone and they tend to respond super fast, and that's very helpful when it's such a lonely world out here, being a startup founder.
Yeah, that's spot on. Yeah. So awesome. A few questions, and if you have any, if you have any more questions, please feel free to use the chat or the question feature as well. So 2 questions that came in. Will the funding be in exchange for equity? Yes. So Tobechukwu, I've just going to put a link so you actually know what the deal entails. You are getting you're getting 500K and that for 7% of the company incrementally. So the first 125,000 of the investment converts to a fixed 77% of the company, and the remaining 375 is invested on an uncapped MFN safe. MFN means most favorable nation. So it's like whatever the best deal you do, whatever the best valuation is at the time of your further raise applies to YC as well. So that's how it works. But you can read more details on the link that I shared in the chat there. And there is a question around what does realistic numbers look like in traction, in terms of traction, in terms of like revenue? What does good traction look like when you're talking to a YC? I have my thoughts, but I'm curious to Tolu, in your head, did you have like a measure of like, oh, it's when we are at this stage or when we've done this that we should actually apply to YC? Was there like a bar for you, like what good traction looks like before you would apply to your YC, or was that a non-factor?
No, me, I would advise to apply. Just as long as you feel ready, whatever your definition of ready is, just apply. Don't think too much about revenue. In fact, the definition of traction is not just revenue. Traction can mean so many things. Finding a co-founder is traction. Finding a co-founder is traction. Getting people on your waiting list, people who show interest for your product is traction. Doing hundreds of customer interviews and learn about what they want from your product is also traction. So you can mention all those things as traction, and it's just pretty much progress. What have you been up to in the past X months, right? So I would think about it that way versus revenue. And then, like Tosin mentioned, if you've applied to YC before and you're applying again, maybe the second time now you've launched, and now you really want to highlight, even if it's $100 or $1K in revenue that you've attained, it's still something to highlight that, hey, the last time we applied, we hadn't launched. Now we've launched, we have X customers, we have $1,000 in revenue. Still highlight those things, right? You don't need to have $1 million before you say that you want to highlight that thing. So I'll just say, have the mentality that literally any progress is traction, and you just always want to highlight the things you've done in the past few months.
Awesome. I will just answer some of Blessing's questions here. Am I right? YC is big on having a tech co-founder. Do you think, do all YC startups have CTOs? Or have you seen any startup go into YC without a CTO? Moses, any thoughts on that?
I'm a solo founder. I'm a trained lawyer. It has nothing to do with tech, right? As long as you can demonstrate a pathway to getting a good tech person to help run the business, I think they're a lot more willing to listen to you as long as you have good progress and
Yeah. So domain expertise, is what is required. Do you have what it takes, and is there a path to actually finding people or talents that will actually complement you to build your company? So Moses and Eden Care is a testament that no, you don't have to have a CTO to get into YC. Again, it helps if you have one, but again, it's not a make or break factor. Monaco, so for question 2, must have a product. Like I said, Monaco last year was on this panel, got into YC pre-product. So that's more of like, okay, here's what we're trying to build. Here's the problem we found. We validated it this way, and here's how we're thinking of a solution. And they got into YC with that. So yes, you stand a chance if you are still, if you pass the idea state but don't have a full product yet. And then around I've observed YC has been funding fintechs and SaaS, especially in Africa. Is this intentional? What other sectors? Yes, we have on the plan panel as fintech, Cleva, but we have again would you call yourself a SaaS? Moses, is you don't care a SaaS or I mean, I know it's insurance, but what sector would you
We're an insured tech,
Yeah, so
right?
that's like
And our
platform.
model is not SaaS at
Yeah,
all.
it's not
At all.
SaaS. So yeah, I mean, and we have of course a virtual restaurant chain as well, which is again, yeah. So I think there's a diversity in types. So please do apply with whatever you're building as such as well. Cool. And then question from Bisara. Would they accept startups just would YC accept similar startups? So startups are doing similar things. Again, might not be from the same country, or even in the same country. Would YC accept similar startup ideas that are similar? Does that matter?
Yeah, I believe they would. It didn't happen in our batch for the African startups, but it happened in our batch for the AI startups. It's like 10 AIs for customer support, 20 AIs for, I don't know, some data analytics. So for sure, they will bring you in. And to them, their perspective is, we like these founders, we like these teams. Let them come and battle it out too. And that's like, let them push each other to be successful. So they also like that kind of thing. And even on the Africa side, I might not remember exactly which batch, but I'm pretty sure that...
I think it's Tosin's batch.
Where there were multiple?
Did you have like multiple startups doing similar, not doing similar things, but solving in similar spaces in your batch?
No, it was Chowdeck and
Oh, it's Chowdeck's batch. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Chowdeck and
yes.
who?
Food court.
Food court, yeah.
Food court in the same batch. Yeah. So they do it too. Yeah.
And then
for them it's their investment.
Like, we love this guy so much. Let's get 500. Let's get ChowCentral too.
And before the three of us, they already had Hey Food.
Yeah, they had Hey Food as well. That's four.
Nice.
That's true. So four food startup. Yeah. Again, not exactly the same thing, but again, just in that same space.
I mean, was there not Paystack and then like right after, wasn't there Flutterwave too?
Exactly.
Yeah, and both of them blew. So for them, it's like it's double win.
Yeah, indeed. I wonder what those group partners conversation chats look like. I mean, within themselves. But yeah, I'm curious. Is it a Chinese wall or do they like, I don't know, compare notes? Cool. All right, we're coming to the end of this. I'm just looking at the chat for any last questions that we can take just one more. But if you have any questions even beyond this, please feel free to shoot them at startups@paystack.com. But if there are no other questions, I think it's just good to, you guys are building, companies here. You've gone through YC I think, again, by the time people are watching this video, Tolu will be done with YC as well. So you've all gone through YC and all. I'm curious, like, again, how people on this, listen to this might actually be able to support your journey and even perhaps in their own little way, like give you some nano acceleration as well. So yeah, feel free to like just plug out people might again jump or help support what you're building, whether as consumers or as advocates.
Awesome. Thank you. Just gonna put some words out there for Cleva. So if you're out there and you need to receive some dollars from someone across the world and you don't have a good way to do that, Cleva is here for you. You have a startup, you have a business, maybe you're a freelancer, contractor, creator, you need a USD account, you can go on the Cleva app, go on the Cleva website, open a Cleva account, you finish your KYC ASAP, get your Cleva account, and you can start receiving USD and spending and managing your money. So just put that out there to help spread the word. Thank you.
All right, cool. And we all know we need some, dollars right now. It's a good way to. But yeah, thanks do check out Get Clever. How about you, Tosin? How can people jump in on?
Yes, so I think for us, what we would really appreciate right now, if you know any really smart person, any superstar that is really hardworking and wants to change the world, or if you are even that person yourself, right? I would say it would be really great to have you on board. You should come join us, come and work with us as we build something that is going to be the future of Africa. Yeah, so I think I would leave an email in the chat and you could just shoot me your CV. If you're a software engineer, a designer, if you're even in a non-tech role, go just reach out to me. and let's see what we can do together.
Awesome. Yeah, Cleva. The link for Cleva is getcleva.com.
Our website, yes, getcleva.com.
Yeah.
Getcleva.com.
So Valentine Blaze was asking. Yeah. So Cleva is Cleva CLEVA, not VER.
Can I type in this chat?
Yes, I think so. If you go to the
Okay, cool.
getcleva.com. Awesome. Yeah, and Tosin will drop your email if you want to also join the team at ChowCentral, Tosin at ChowCentral.com. How about you, Moses? Again, you're playing in the health insurance space. How can folks chip in?
Yeah, we're looking for smart human beings to come and join us. We're doing groundbreaking stuff on the insurance side, multiple countries now, and I would love people to come and join and help us push across the continent.
Awesome. I was in Nairobi recently, as well as Kigali, and I think those are two wonderful places to build from. So if you are thinking of joining definitely a team, and I think it's definitely worth checking that out as well. Awesome. So Mosey, you want to drop your email as well, or a link that people can actually go check out. I think Tolu also mentioned careers at Get Clever for the person who was curious as to. It's quite interesting. So it's like talent seems like a top of mind for YC companies. So that's interesting. That's very interesting in this climate as well. That's good. That's a sign of growth and progress. Awesome. Yes, we would have this recording shared afterwards for anybody that's registered. So don't fret. I know somebody asked a question. How many times did you apply before getting into YC? You go watch a recording, you get the answers to that. We actually asked that question at the start of the recording, so you can check that out. Again, a big thank you to Tolu, Tosin, and Moses for taking the time to come share your experience in applying, interviewing, getting into, and life after YC. We wish you all the very best with the journey. And for everyone else, please do again continue to engage with us at paystack.com/startups. And we hope to be able to be a growth partner and a catalyst for you as you build. Have a good evening, everyone. For those who are celebrating Eid, wish you a very good holiday and restful weekend as well. All right, guys. Cheers. Signing out.
Bye, guys.
Take care.